This week's Parsha is Parshas Vayeira, and at the end of the Parsha, Avraham Avinu goes through the final of his 10 tests of the Asar Nisyonos, the Akedas Yitzchak. And the question is, it should have been more of a Nisayon for Yitzchak than for Avraham. In fact, it was called Akedas Yitzchak. Yitzchak was the one being sacrificed here. Why was it counted as one of Avraham's Nisyonos? This should be a Nisayon for Yitzchak. So I heard from Reb Mordechai Gutfreund, b'shem his Rebbe, Reb Avram Shmulevitz from the Mir in Eretz Yisrael, the son of Reb Chaim Shmulevitz Zatzal. And he brought a real mashal, from the Sfas Emes. The Sfas Emes became Rebbe at 22 years old. And when everyone around him asked, what right do you have to sit in the Chedush Yerim's chair? Your father, your grandfather, from Alexander, from Kutsk, all the Rebbes before you were so much older and wiser. You're 22 years old, you're a young bacher, you're a young kid. What gives you the right to stand where they stood, to sit where they sat, and to fill their shoes? So Semes gave a mashal, and he said, there was a man who was trying to climb a mountain, one of the tallest mountains in the world. And it took him many, many weeks until he finally, after struggling for so long, he got to the top of the mountain. And when he got there, he sees this 3-year-old kid sitting there. He asked him, it took me weeks, a grown man, to climb and struggle and fight to get to the top of this mountain. It was a challenge. You're 3 years old, how did you get here? The 3-year-old answered simply, I was born here. His father must have climbed the mountain years earlier. They set up a hut or a shack or whatever, and he was living there. The 3-year-old was born there. He didn't have to exert any effort because his father already exerted the effort before him when he climbed the mountain years earlier, and then he was born there. So too says the Sfas Emes. I was born to a family of Ger dynasty, of the Chedush Yerim, of all the tzaddikim and gedolim that came before me, says the Sfas Emes. If you grew up in the home of the Chedush Yerim, it's not a shayla. It's not a question that I could fill this role, because I was born into it. I was raised with tzidkus in mind, with righteousness and Hashem always on our minds. I was trained, I was prepared for this, like a prince that's brought up in the king's palace. Of course he's going to take over as king. So too, this wasn't a nisayon for Yitzchak. He was brought up in the house of Avraham Avinu, Gadol Shebegdolim, our holy forefather, that was the father of our nation, that only had Hashem on his mind. Of course Yitzchak, it wasn't a sign for. Of course I'm going to give up my life for Hashem. What's the shaila? May we be zeichet to always continue sacrificing our lives for Hashem and living al Kiddush Hashem, not just to die al Kiddush Hashem, but we should live our lives al Kiddush Hashem and sacrifice the little things all for Hashem, like our forefather Avram and Yitzchak. May we be zeichet to a beautiful Shabbos.